Welcome to Financial Ginger. I am your host, Jacob Johnson. I'm the insurance agent that is known for answering his phone, which might not sound like a big deal until you can't get a hold of your agent for 3 weeks when you're trying to add a car. So that being said, today I am very excited. You prefer Nate, right?
Yeah, most people just call me
I've always
Nate.
called you Nate.
Yeah.
So I've got Nate or Nathan Hahn. He is a real estate photographer.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit how you got into that, because I know you used to be a pilot.
Yeah, I've gotten around a little bit. I basically grew up here in Utah, born and raised in Utah, and then lived in like 12 small towns. Moved a lot, right?
Like
so
Magna?
I grew up all over this, like
Smithfield?
Pankwitch, born in Pankwitch.
Oh,
then
geez.
Kanab, then Hanksville, and not a lot of people
I don't know Hanksville.
have even know where Hanksville's at, let alone live there.
Like I know Hurricane.
Yeah, it's a gas station on your way to the north end of Lake Powell.
Oh, okay.
Basically. It's right next to Goblin Valley and stuff.
Oh, okay. There we go. I know a
Yeah.
lot better now. I love Goblin Valley.
Yeah, I grew up in the desert out in Hanksville, then Beaver, Springville, Mapleton, Highland, Lehigh, back to
There's a
Highland.
few places I actually
Yeah,
know.
now you got some.
If you knew more than 2 of those places, leave a comment.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Or if you're from an even smaller town, I don't know, like Orangeville or something like that in Utah. Orangeville's a pretty small town.
Yeah, it's a pretty small one.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. So you grew up in Utah, been here your whole life.
Yeah. And then
got into being a pilot.
I did the military first.
Military first. Okay.
Yeah. So I joined the Navy, and it's kind of like I grew up in the desert, but then I joined the Navy, and I grew up on like Tom
You were just
Clancy
like,
novels and stuff
I
like
need
that.
water.
And I always wanted to fly, but my eyes were bad. So the next best thing to me was I'm thinking Tom Clancy and Hunt for Red October and stuff. And I joined the Navy and went in submarines. And so I did nuclear submarines for 10 years.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And one thing that's actually coming in very handy now that I did then was I was always into photography, like American Fork High School. They used to have a black room and you could develop film and stuff in there. And so that's where I first got into photography. And then doing nuclear submarines, I was in electronic warfare, which I was in charge of everything in the periscopes, including photo, video, thermal, night vision, antennas to pick up signals and listen to what other ships and stuff are doing. So,
And make sure I understand periscopes. That's the like this where you look into it and see stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I am not very well versed on anything submarine or nuclear related. So I just find this all fascinating.
Yeah. It was, the periscope goes up and like World War II, they're sitting there and they're looking through it like this, right?
Yeah, trying to find the U-boats.
And they're trying to find the U-boats. Well, same, like our backup periscope, same thing as the World War II.
Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Just simple piece of glass and magnifier. But the main periscope, the one that I was also in charge of, that's packed full of electronics and stuff now. Yeah.
Dang. So you got to manage that and use it and tinker with it. And
So I was doing a lot of photography and stuff, doing that. And then I did that for 10 years. But I was 10 years at sea because I was 5.5 years on a nuclear submarine, living on it and working on it. And then I switched to a team.
Was that before or after you got married?
I got married couple of years into that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
So
Crystal's a saint.
my wife, Crystal, man, she's been through a lot because I was like one of the worst years. I was gone almost 300 days.
Oh my gosh. Being home for only 2 months out of a whole year. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So military stuff. Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thanks.
I think the military stuff's awesome. I have grandparents and a lot of cousins and stuff that have been military. No one in my family directly, not my siblings, but I just think it's cool. I always joked I should have, but I should have, but would have helped me be more disciplined than I am now. So you get through Navy. Did you like, I know a lot of people after they have time, they like convert to like National Guard, right? Or something like that, where they're like weekend warrior. Or did you just like, I'm done with this?
I did kind of a crazy conversion. I converted to Army.
Oh,
like
okay.
Full active duty Army, not National Guard. So I got out of the Navy, and the Army at the time was starving for pilots, 2007. And they shifted the age limit and everything. And I was like, I get to fly. I always wanted to fly. And I was like, now I get to fly.
Had you already taken certifications to fly, or was it like you're transferring and they're going to train you?
No, I took a gamble. It turns out I'm wearing glasses, but they accepted LASIK at the time. It's the first time they'd started doing that. So I got LASIK waited 6 months for this wait period to make sure my eyes were okay. And then got out of the Navy, completely separated, and applied to the Army.
Oh, that is dangerous.
Yeah, so
because you might not for sure get accepted or whatnot.
I might not get back into the Army.
Well, I had a friend have something like that happen, Army to something else, and he almost lost his retirement over it. Like, it was pretty scary. So I know that can be really scary to jump, especially if you have to like leave and then re-roll.
Yeah,
wow.
I had to completely, because there is a blue, or was, I don't know if there still is, there was a blue to green program where you could directly transfer from Navy to Army. But when the Navy's put a couple years of training into you,
they don't want to give you up that easy.
And you're in a, like, I'm in a field that's so undermanned. They gave me a promotion and a $60,000 check just to reenlist when I did reenlist the first time.
Wow.
So, and that was 2002. I did that reenlistment, 2003.
60,000?
Yeah.
Great financial decision.
Yeah. Wish I'd done something better with it.
Yeah. Bought a boat. I'm in the Navy. I need a boat. Awesome. So you ended up successfully getting into the Army and flying planes.
Yeah. And I flew helicopters, and I was in the Army for 3 years. I didn't deploy. I didn't go to a unit. I did all the flight school stuff. And then my knees, I had knee problems, and they put me on a medical hold, and I ended up lasting almost a year. And then in the end, like kind of what happened to your buddy, if I'd stayed in the Navy, I would have easily done 20 years and retired. Yeah. But I got a medical discharge and no retirement.
Oh.
I actually got discharged the day before I would have been eligible for medical retirement.
Isn't that? Dude, I have a friend that he did two, maybe three deployments in Army, and he actually had like a helicopter like land on him in a weird situation. And he got obviously medically retired from the injury he sustained. But man, like knowing you're going to get like, you're a day from that, but obviously, I don't know, bygones are bygones. It happened. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Thanks. So you got out of the Army flying helicopters and airplanes and took that to the commercial realm.
Yeah. I got out of the Army, was a helicopter flight instructor.
Still taking pictures the whole time.
Yeah. I've always been in photography. So I'm doing like wildlife photography and landscapes and stuff all the time. And I got my civilian ratings in helicopters, and then I became a flight instructor in SUU in Southern Utah, started a flight program, and I was part of that for the first 2 years it started.
Wow.
I was one of their instructors. And then I switched to fixed wing, and at Provo.
And what's fixed wing?
Just regular airplanes instead of helicopters.
Gotcha.
The wings don't spin.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean,
fixed
they're
wings.
always telling me, like, when I switched from helicopter to airplanes, my flight instructors at Provo were always joking, don't spin the wings, because, yeah, I know. Not on purpose.
That sounds like a really bad problem if the wings started spinning.
Yeah.
That's crack up. I love that there's like a whole genre of humor around that.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
So then I became an airplane pilot, because you have to get a rating for certificate in helicopters. And then if you want to fly airplanes, you got to redo training and do the training in it. It's easier to transition if you've already done one. You're not learning everything, like all the airspace rules. And
but it is
brand
different
new the first time. But it's very different. There's
airplanes don't generally go backwards.
Yeah.
And if so, that's worse than the wings spinning.
Yeah. You got really big problems.
Huge problems.
In the end, I worked, I flew cargo planes, Beech 1900s. They're twin turboprop airplanes, and Beech 99s. They're twin turboprops also, but they're smaller. So the 99 had, like, when it was a passenger plane, it carried 9 people.
Oh, small.
Yeah, small. Like the kind of stuff they used to fly off of the.
So you're doing like
the old St. George Airport when you flew off the bluff.
Oh, okay.
Little twin turboprop things.
Yeah, my brain associates like the small planes now with, I might say the wrong word. I don't know airplanes very well. Like little Cessnas. Is that what they're called now? Like those are relatively small planes. But Cessnas are like 4-person or 2-person, right? Are those like really small?
Yeah, like 2, sometimes 4.
Gotcha.
The planes we were flying, they're good because they're being turboprop. They've turbine engines. They've a lot more power than like a Cessna or something like that.
Gotcha. And they're probably a little bit more fuel efficient for doing cargo deliveries.
For when it comes to cargo, the the power to rate ratio and the efficiency versus what you can carry, yeah, it's hard to beat. That's why these planes we were flying, built the 99s, they were built and started coming out in the 60s.
Oh, wow.
The company I was flying for was still flying one of the oldest flying 99s in the world. It was like from 1967 or something like that.
So I was talking with your wife, Crystal, about airplanes, and this was probably a couple months ago. And she was saying that some of those planes were like so old, or some of their like systems were so out of date that like you had to carry your own oxygen tank and mask to do flies, like for flying.
Like that Beech 99 unpressurized.
Yeah. So
yeah, I flying runs in Denver, Colorado, where you got to cross the Rockies and stuff. The air traffic control, because their airspace zones and everything, they want you at 18,000 feet. But okay, I can do that, but I can't do any higher
because it's unpressurized.
And to fly up there, I'm wearing a nasal cannula, and there's an oxygen bottle behind my seat, and I'm sucking oxygen, and I'm carrying a one of those fingertip pulse oximeters they put on your finger
to make sure you're not going to like pass out or something.
It shows your heart rate and how much oxygen's in your blood. I carried one of those in my bag so that I could make sure that I was getting enough oxygen while I was doing those routes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. This is not super important, but what's the danger level for oxygen when you had to like, okay, I need to make sure I turn on my oxygen or increase the flow or something? Like I've heard it's like 80. Is that too low?
Yeah.
Or?
So like I was, that's one problem in aviation. Like they tell you, make sure you're getting enough oxygen, right? But not everyone carries like a pulse oximeter and stuff. I started to because I learned pretty quickly. We're dealing with old equipment. Sometimes like the bottle wasn't like you should always check the bottle's full enough, right? But maybe the manifold's a little bit leaky back there. So a bottle that should last a couple hours is empty mid-flight. Now you're going to be like, okay, I need lower.
And airspace control or air traffic control won't let you go lower because of their.
Well, I mean, if you tell them it's an oxygen issue, they will definitely let you go lower.
But they just don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, the FAA might call the airline and be like, so your pilot said he had oxygen issues while he was on this route and he couldn't accept altitude and stuff. What was going on?
Yeah. And it turns into a mountain of paperwork for someone.
Yeah. But I asked some nurses and they told me, basically, it was, I think I remember it now, but it was something around, they don't like you to be below 90% on oxygen. They don't like it. If you're down to 80, it's a big problem. It's they're definitely putting you on oxygen. And like if you're getting below 80, I think it's like 78 to 80 range, there can be an issue with you being able to legally sign documents because you're considered impaired at that point. And if you get into if you get down to like 70, you're risking death.
Yeah. You pass out and you obviously can't fly.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be scary.
Yeah. And that's just that's just laying in a hospital bed. So like while flying, yeah, you do not want to get below the 90s. You want to be able to think clearly and make decisions and stuff.
So the big question that I presume many people listening are, it's like, this is super cool, military and flying planes. Yeah. Like I've always wanted to fly a plane. I think flying planes are the coolest. Like it's just so cool. It's so dreamy. It's like, wow. But how does a pilot become a real estate photographer? Yeah. Tell us about that story.
Yeah, I can ramble on that stuff all day. But the
ramble away.
The thing that changed that was I'd been working for that company and running a train department for 6 years. And I'm living here in Salt Lake, but the training department is basically based out of Denver.
It's a bit of a commute.
I was commuting to Denver, and I'd go to Denver 2 or 3 weeks at a time, then come home for 2 or 3 weeks. And for a while, it was just me and a couple other guys, and it was rough. And eventually, I was able to train up more instructors. They gave me more leeway, let more staff come online and stuff. But still, I'm the guy running it all. I had to go there a lot. And so I'm looking at, I finished flying there. And in aviation, you have to keep building hours, getting more stuff. Well, I had my airline transport pilot rating. So as high as you can get, the stuff you need. Like I flew the 777 sim in Denver at the United Center, like United Airlines Flight Training Center.
Gotcha.
So,
what's that? The 777 sim?
Boeing 777.
Oh, okay.
The big jets, right? I flew
certified.
I flew that simulator for my ATP course, and then I flew simulator for the Beech 1900 because
So you can fly
I
just about
teach in
anything.
that thing. So that's,
Yeah.
if I'm going to take a test, I'm going to take it in the plane I teach in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finished my airline rating, and the company I was working for, it's one of those old corporate stories. Amazing, family oriented company. Everyone loves working there. People that have been there for 20 years, 15 years, stuff like that, through thick and thin, but the company's always treated them right. They love it. Company wants to grow. They hire a COO and other management from somewhere else who happened to come from a failed airline.
Oh,
and
changes the culture.
The culture completely changes. And now it's absolutely not family oriented anymore. It's all about profit orientation and things. Just the culture changes completely, complete 180.
That makes sense.
So I'm definitely leaving there, and I'm looking around like, what am I going to do next? If I go to, like, I've got friend flying for Frontier, and I could pretty easily with my qualifications go to Frontier at the time. And I was like, I've been in the Navy for 10 years, in the Army for 3 years. I've been doing this airline stuff and pilot training and stuff. And one reason or another, I've been on the road for 20 years. When I was flight instructing, I was commuting to Cedar City and coming home because it didn't pay nearly enough to, like, have my wife give up her teaching job and us to move down there with nothing. So I was like, I've always wanted to have my own business. I'm going to stay home. It's my friends all think I'm crazy, but I stopped flying at the point where everyone's like, you finally made it. You've got your airline rating. You're ready to go to the airlines.
You've been flying for what,
the big airlines like Frontier and Delta and stuff.
20 years or 22 years or
what's that?
How long have you been flying?
Between the Army and then civilian flying, like 12 years.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah. You're right. It's right. That's right. When everyone's like, okay, I'm doing transatlantic or whatever.
Yeah. Like I'm ready to go to Frontier and Delta, and I'm ready to apply to those places. And I'm like, actually, I don't want to.
I'm going to start a business.
I'm going to stay home. I'm going to start a business from scratch, and I'm going to build something for myself. And it's been, it's been an adventure. I'm having fun with it. And I'm actually really glad I made that change.
Cool. I hope that a lot of the people that have been on my show and a lot of the listeners that have, like, sent me feedback or emails or whatnot, a lot of them are realtors. So I've been fascinated with real estate photography. Hopefully, if you find this interesting, we'll put information about how to get a hold of Nate in the description, or email me, of course. My email's also in the description and everywhere. But yeah, it'd be great to connect with people, because I always find it fascinating, because one thing I was thinking about in terms of photography, when you were talking about, like, doing landscapes, and that is I grew up going to a lot of places where there'd be a lot of Asian tourists, right? Chinese and Japanese tourists. Yeah. And the style of photography is so different than what American tourists do, right? Like, you go to the Grand Canyon, you go to Yellowstone, you go to the Redwood Forest, you go to Death Valley, right? Some of these beautiful places. You go to the Grand Tetons, and we take pictures, right, where people take up like a third to half of the photo, right? You have your family, and you'll see a photo that, like, one of my friends who's Taiwanese, she'll take a photo, and, right, like, the person's a little speck in the corner, and it's all because it's like the scenery is and obviously some of that's cultural, but I think that's a great lead in into considering real estate photography, right? Yeah. Obviously that's a little different than taking portraits or taking photos on vacation. I don't know, like, that might be a really ambiguous question, but how was the change from other photography you've done to real estate?
There were definitely some things to learn and adjust to, but it wasn't, for me, I think it was a lot easier than, I imagine if I was coming from, like, strictly portrait photography, it would have been maybe a little bit more difficult, maybe.
Yeah.
I say that because I've got a friend who's an amazing portrait photographer, but he cannot wrap his head around landscapes and the different considerations you make when you're doing something like landscape versus portrait. Like, I was having a hard time wrapping my head at the time when we were talking about, like, portrait lighting and flashes. I don't use flashes and portrait lighting and stuff. How do you light people's face and directing people?
Yeah,
that's what I first said.
My dad,
to him, right?
My dad does weddings. He does photography for, like, weddings and group events. He loves that because he loves the controlling people, and that's a totally different. Like, you're not really doing that with real estate.
I told him, like telling people how to position their head and tilt down and look right and stuff. I'm like, that was my first reaction to that. I've picked up on a lot of that because eventually I might want to start offering headshots or something like that. It's not something I really do right now, but I figured it's something I might as well learn because I'm going all in on media in general. And, but what's really been helpful is like coming from landscapes and then being out here and like fall colors, mountains in the background, beautiful house. How do I light this? What time of day is more ideal? Now, I can't always pick the time of day, unfortunately, but I've got a lot of tricks that I've picked up through doing landscape photography for years on Photoshop and tweaking the lighting and stuff and trying to make things look as best I can when it comes, and just looking for compositions other than front, left, right. And like sometimes it's not every house, but some of these houses, you if you just take a few minutes and look at it and just take in the scene in general, you can find some pretty cool shots with like there's one on the bench above Provo. And I did all the basic stuff and now I have some extra time. I'm looking for something better. Like how
can I make this properly stand out?
When you get those pictures that look more like something you put on a wall and more cinematic, and they're like, they make you stop and go, whoa, that's exactly what you're looking for. Cause that's
getting people to click on a listing.
Yeah.
Yep. You got to stop the scroll.
So I'm looking for those hook shots always. I'm looking for that shot that the realtor can make number one that makes people go, whoa. And so I'm flying my drone. I'm beautiful trees, beautiful mountains and stuff. There's got to be something here, right? And I'm flying my drone around, and then I get to a point where there's the lake between the trees. I've got to get down to this spot, and get this angle and stuff. But now all of a sudden, there's the lake flowing out back there, and the composition lines, and the mountains, and it all just clicks. And I was like, oh. Yes. Yeah. The view. Because like my dad's back porch growing up, and I say my dad because it's the house I grew up in. It's got just the clear view of the entire Mount Timpanogos, right? There's land that's marshland behind my dad's house, and so they can't really build anything on it. So even though everything else is being built up in Vineyard and Orem, there's just like random field that they're planting crops in because it can't be used for other stuff like the structural integrity of the ground. It would require a lot of work. So eventually it'll happen, but for now, for the last 25 years, it's been fine. Right. So it's just like this great photo. I've actually seen some real estate listings where there'll be like the normal photos that are like taken during the day. And then there'll be like one evening photo, right, where it like highlights a lake and you can see like the sunset and the oranges bouncing off the water. And it's just like, they came back to get this shot. Yeah, absolutely. And there's been a couple times where I'm like, not every house is going, like, yes, ideally it would be great to take all my photos like in golden hour, the hour before sunset and the hour after sunrise and stuff. You can't do that though.
Yeah, you can't always do that.
You can't always do that. And not every house is really going to benefit that much for it. And I'm not saying like $1 million house versus old house. I've taken some little cottage homes and just house that's obviously been well cared for over the decades. Beautiful little garden and stuff, big old tree, and this little cottage home, and you put the evening light on it, like that last hour or two before sunset, and it just, it's like chef's kiss on this thing, right? So sometimes when I can see, this is going to pop later, I might reach out and be like, look, if there's any way, I'd like to come back. Maybe the home's occupied, it doesn't work, there's people coming by, whatever. But when I see an opportunity, I will always try to take it and be like, look, if it works with timing with them and with me and stuff, hey, I think I'd like to do a little bit extra on this one. And I think that's one of the things I've been trying to do that kind of sets me apart. Trying to find those ways to do something a little extra. And then like this cottage I'm thinking about, she was like, well, how much is that? No, I'm not. I'm not looking for an upsell.
Can I do this?
I'm just saying, if the clouds came in, I can tell. I didn't get it today, but I can tell the light is going to pop on this place tomorrow because the weather's supposed to be clear and everything. I just want to know if it's okay to come back tomorrow in the evening and do some shots from American Fork. It's only like 18 minutes for me to get here, so it's not a huge drive or anything. I don't want to charge you. I just want to know, can I come back? She's like, yeah. And that shot did. That shot was great.
And obviously, I can tell for you, it's the passion and wanting to do it good. But the other little bonus, right? Even if it's not directly an upsell, I could see that agent being like, I need to keep tabs on this photographer.
Yeah.
I need to make sure I get them for the next project you've been doing. Because if you do good, right? My philosophy is do good, get good, beget good, right? Like if you're just always doing good, good's gonna come back to you, and it's gonna beget good for other people, right? Like it's you're literally creating more pie, right?
Yeah.
There's more wins for everyone, and I like that.
A lot of people could turn that into an upsell, and I'm with you. I'm like, that's my marketing.
Yeah.
I instead of putting money into marketing, into Facebook ads and stuff, if I just don't charge for a few things here and there and do some extras, and word of mouth is kind of king in real estate. So I'm all about that instead.
Well, do you know Alex Hormozy? He's like one of those, gurus. Like he's always saying you need to, and I'm paraphrasing here. It's like, if your free stuff is better than other people's paid stuff, people are going to pay you for whatever they can pay you for, right? Like if your normal package includes things that other people are going to upsell for, like people will eventually notice, right? People that is good branding, good deals, right there. And I think that's awesome. I've kind of thought the same thing. I did ads early on when I was doing insurance, and I was just like, I don't see the point. I have to keep on like paying to get leads, and I'd rather build good relationships with photographers, with real estate agents, with mortgage officers, with loan officers. And I was like, hey, that's a selfish reason I can get into podcasting, right? Because I've always liked talking to people. It's so fat. Like I love hearing about the stories. And when Crystal was telling me that you weren't doing flight anymore and you changed out of that, and I was like, oh, what? He's like, oh yeah, real estate. I'm like, I have to talk to him. Like, it was like, this is so cool. And so that's like, for me, obviously part of the goal of the podcast is to make income in some way, but it's also fun because I just get to be real with people and hear their stories and help show people their value. Yeah. And it's just going to do good and get good and beget good. And I think that's a great way to do it. So absolutely, kudos to you for that.
Since your podcast you're basically insurance, right?
Yeah.
Does your company insure like drone operations?
That's a great question. So I have had many like lighting people, and I have a couple photographers that I do insurance for. Almost every insurance company that I have says no if there's drones involved. They like literally specifically and explicitly ask, is this involved? Is any drone work involved? And I don't know why. I think people are just so scared of, I think it's called the FAA. Yeah. I don't know the acronym. Federal Aviation Administration. Yeah. They're so scared that someone's going to get sued for something. I don't know what the big deal is because I'm not aware of any lawsuit or pending lawsuit around that space. I think it's just a little bit unclear. And so insurance companies are scared of it.
I'm not sure what it is either, but yeah, starting my business and trying to I went from military to pilot and stuff. That's where I was weak. I have nothing in my background is business. So starting my business and trying to figure out things like, how do I get the insurance set up? Who's even going to insure me? Because I keep telling them, yes, I fly a drone. And they say, no, thank you.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. Luckily,
it's like, you said drones? And they like hold up two middle fingers and like, get out of here. Like, whoa, what did I do?
I ended up with State Farm because they do insure drones. But I have heard from other photographers in other states that they don't. I think the last one was in Florida that they got dropped. They just didn't want to carry the drone insurance in that area anymore. Okay. Now, I don't know if there was other things going on with that photographer or whatever.
I have a State Farm.
Yeah. Currently, I've got liability insurance, business insurance, and a drone rider and everything. Awesome. Because I'm not going to try to do real estate and be in these homes that are anywhere. I mean, even when your basic home is $500,000 these days, and I could easily be in a $2 or $3 million home, and I've got this drone flying over it.
And if something happens, you don't want to have to worry about $50,000 or $100,000. That's why the insurance exists.
Or my tripod tips over somehow, like
breaks an expensive vase.
The family dog is loose, and it hits the tripod, and tripod takes out a glass table that's a $20,000 table or something.
Do you have an equipment writer on your policy to cover your camera equipment?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. Because that's one thing, the couple of photographers that I worked with, they were like, oh yeah, this and this. And obviously you need the liability and whatnot if someone sues you for you doing something wrong or whatever, which doesn't seem that likely to me, but obviously that's the point of insurance. It's not very likely it's going to happen. Yeah. But the two photographers I'm thinking of that I worked with, they're both like, oh yeah, I've got $50,000 of a camera equipment. I've got $30,000 of camera equipment that I need to make sure is protected. And they'd send me a copy of their current policy after saying, well, they're like, that's more expensive than what I'm paying right now. Like, send me a copy of your current policy. I'm like, your policy is just liability. It doesn't cover any of your equipment. I'm like, what? I told my previous agent I wanted. I'm like, well, maybe they gave you a quote or something, but it's not on here. Like, ask them, make sure I'm not wrong, because I have been wrong about things. The insurance documents are very complicated and long.
Yeah.
But yeah, both situations, it was like, oh my gosh, I don't have it. And then they did their quotes and they were like adding it on. They're like, oh, it's cheaper. Okay, let's go. Because I was already doing their home and auto, and they're like, hey, just checking, do you do this? And I'm like, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't really advertise a whole lot that I do business insurance, because I do have some strong limitations. Like I've tried forever to find someone that does drones, because I've had so many people ask about drones. And the other one that I've really struggled with is framing. If you are a solo framer, no one wants to insure you.
Really?
I have no idea why. Or if you do tract housing, like you work for DR Horton or Edge or something like that, where you're doing more than, I can't remember if it's 5 or 10 homes, right? Like community with 200 homes, and you're doing the framing for all of them or whatever. They don't want to deal with tract houses, and they don't want to deal with small operations. They want you to have like 100+ people that are like a big thing. I'm like, but not tract homes? Like, what are they going to be doing that isn't tract? So
yeah,
basically,
I don't get that.
Yeah, and there are more options that I don't have. I have a referral partner I send people to. His name's Scott, and he's really good. He only does commercial insurance. So most of the time I do that. But if it's something relatively simple, like I have a couple of electricians that they just do like the jellyfish lighting on houses every year.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the guy has his own thing, and he makes each technician, right? They're $10.99. They have their own LLC. So I've just got like little errors and emission policies for like 10 little electricians underneath this guy and his policy. And then, yeah, it's fun because I can keep track of it all for him too. Or a barber that I work with, he's got like 8 barbers, and they're all 1099 contractors. And so they have to have their own barber's insurance, and he has his insurance. And because they are over him, he wants to get copies of their insurance. So like, it's easy for them to just say, hey, Jacob, take care of it, because I'll add their main LLC onto the additional notices, so they get copies of the insurance. Anyways, it's a whole thing. So if that ever happens, but yeah, it's good to know State Farm, because I have a friend that's a State Farm agent, and we're always referring policies back and forth for each other.
Okay.
If like she'll have like someone that has a DUI, and she's like, I can't insure this person. They have SR22 on their auto insurance. I'm like, I can do that. Or a school bus or something like that someone's retrofitted, and I can do that. And I'll have something where I'm not able to, and I'll say, hey, take a look at it. Or like I had someone buy a Lamborghini Urus, very, very fancy car.
Yeah. And
I wasn't able to insure it. So I said, hey, Cambria, can you take a look at this? And she was able to do it. So it's weird, right? Like most people, like, you can't, that's an enemy. That's another insurance agent. I'm like, we can help each other out. It's great.
Yeah.
Do you got to work with other photographers very often?
There's a couple we've done a couple lunches together and stuff. Yeah. We all kind of started at the same time, like new upstart photographers trying to build a business. There's one in the area. His name's Warren McCarthy. And he was, I don't know for sure if he still is, because I did this like a year ago. I did a little coaching program for building real estate photography business and stuff. You see a few different guys going on and on about it online on Instagram and stuff like that. And I was like, well, can't hurt, because it's got like, there's photography. Sure. I know that, but the business side and setting up the licensing and everything, and figuring out some different ways on outreach and how to talk to real estate agents and realtors and figure some of that out. Sure. Yeah. I took a coaching program, and he was part of that. And he's a local photographer he's been really successful. McCarthy Media Co. is his company, and he's big in the area. So
gotcha.
Yeah. I talked to him a couple times while I was part of that coaching program. And then there's the other couple of photographers we've done a couple lunches with and stuff. So yeah.
That's cool.
Haven't had too many opportunities to meet anyone else in the field yet, as far as other photographers. We don't seem to come across each other very often. Yeah. Other than like some of the real estate events, like the local Realtor Association, UCAR, they're doing like a mini convention in next week, actually. And so I'm going to go to that, but I haven't done anything like that before. Yeah. Last year, I still, for the first half of the year, I was still also a pilot. And then when I quit flying in April and I started this real estate business, well, I just focused on everything else I had to take care of first. So I didn't do a lot of like business events and realtor events and stuff like that. And that's what I'm starting to do a lot.
That's really important.
Yeah.
You gotta people have to see you. I tell people this is, I don't know. I always like finding threes because it helps me remember. but people have to need what you offer, right? Like everyone needs auto insurance. Any realtor that's selling a house is going to need good photos. People have to know who you are and they have to like you. So, I mean, right, there's a million insurance agents. There's a million photographers. People have to know who you are and they have to like you. And if they know who you are and they like you, it's easy to do business with you.
Yeah.
In fact, for me, a lot of what frequently is happening is people are reaching out to me. I mean, sometimes it's, my auto insurance went up and I'm going to try to find a new agent. But a lot of times, and that's why I always bring up at the beginning of my podcast, it's like, I'm the guy that answers this phone, is people message me or call me or text me or whatever. And they'll be like, I've been trying for 3 weeks to add a car to my insurance policy and my agent just hasn't responded. And you think,
that seems like
why?
way too long.
Yeah, it seems like that, right? Because I don't know. I don't know why it's so easy to succeed in the auto insurance game by just answering your phone and being available and being helpful. Or some people, it's like, hey, I'm closing on a house. I've been pestering my agent for a quote for 2 or 3 weeks and I haven't gotten a quote back. Like, I just need something. I need to be able to close on this house, right? Or that sort of thing. Or my agent sold to someone else and I don't really know who they are. I'm just trying, or whatever. It's like, it's weird how frequently that happens to me, where it's not about price. It's about service. It's about answering the phone. It's about getting things done. And I imagine there's a little bit of that with the photography game too. Like, I imagine there's sometimes where it's like, this is a really quick sell. They're trying to get it. Like, what's your earliest availability? Who's the photographer that can get here ASAP to get these photos done? I find that interesting.
Some of it's definitely been that where agent reaches out and they're like, hey, my photographer's too busy. I've got this last minute home. I need photos right now. Like on one of them, the agent, I don't understand all the nitty gritty on how the agent stuff works when it comes to like their contract terms. I think it's usually like 6 months. And then if the house isn't sold, there's an out for the owner or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it varies. Well, with the change of the real estate commissions or whatever last year, it all changed. Like, I actually am in the middle of selling a house right now, and I signed like an exclusive agreement for like 4 months or something.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
But there's a lot more flexibility to it now, but that's pretty
so
common.
Like an agent has just picked up a listing from another agent that didn't get it sold, so the homeowner's switching and stuff, but because of reasons, they need to re-up the listing and they need to get the photos up and everything, and they've got like 2 days to get this done. So there's been some of this last minute crash. We need it right now. Could you do it? And I've picked up a couple people that way. Now there's been a couple that were like, hey, thanks for last minute photos, but I really like my current guy. So if he's ever busy again, I'll call you again. Okay, fine. If you really like your current guy, go for it.
Sweet.
But
there's been to be the backup.
I've also picked up a few agents that really like working with me because they came to me either last minute or just they tried me out because I said I was offering a free shoot or something like that. And they're like, oh, wow. Yeah, I like this because
they like the photos.
Like I said, that you can be really good at photos and you can, it's at least what it seems like to me. You can be really good at doing the photos and everything. And you can be pretty decent at doing outreach and stuff. But if you're not making that customer service like number one priority, if you make the agent's life or their people's life, like their office staff, everything, if you make their life difficult, they will definitely find somebody else who's easier to work with.
Well, so tell me a little about like turnaround time, right? Like, I know a lot of, when you think about wedding photography or whatnot, or I suppose portrait photography even, like sometimes if you're getting photos right then and there, or they're putting on a jump drive or whatnot, right? But like with wedding photography, I mean, I had friends of mine when they get married and it takes like 2 months to get the photos back, right? Because it's obviously a lot of photos and it's not too big of a deal if you've got like a honeymoon and you're gone and whatnot. But like with real estate, it's usually like, we need these tomorrow, right? If you're taking the photos right now, can you get them to me in 2 hours? Or I don't like, how is that different?
I think just a few years ago, I think the average was like a few days or a week or something like that. But these days, you're behind if you can't do it next day. And I don't have a problem with that. I do my stuff next day. So I
you have to do a little bit of
if I
editing.
shot today, I'm going to deliver tomorrow. Now, ideally, I tell the agents, look, I don't give you a specific like by 4 p.m. or something like that, because it can be a little bit variable. Ideally, I'm giving it to you in the next morning. Because my workflow is set up so that I can do everything that I shot today will be ready tomorrow morning, and then I'll upload into the deliverables into the system so that it goes out and it's loaded in so that they've got their property website and my system has marketing materials built into it.
Oh, cool.
So like when I upload the photos into it, it goes, all they got to do is put in their credit card. It gives them a preview. They go, okay, yep, these are great. I love them. Then they can decide to buy. So they don't have to buy before they see it. And then they just put in the credit card, they hit buy. And then also right then and there, they've got their photos, but then they can click on, like, they can have
like an MLS
like
listing.
They have pre-formatted just listing cards, like formatted for Instagram or as mailers or as posters or as if they've got an open house that they plan to do this weekend, the minute they buy the photos, that stuff's all set up. And it's got their information, their company logo, their headshot. It's all in there, and it auto drops some of the photos into it. And they can go, okay, actually, whatever the system auto loads into there, they can go, well, actually, I want this one or that one. A few quick clicks, and their marketing material setup is done too. So now they've got their photos, their marketing stuff is done, and they're ready to drop stuff on Instagram, put up their just listed stuff. And
send it to the printer to print the sign.
Send it to the printer to get some
house.
stuff printed for that open house in 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
And,
I had no
if
idea.
they want it, not everyone takes advantage of it, but it's always there. There's a property website, a single property website. It's the same thing. It's got all their information. It's preloaded. When I drop those photos in, those go into a gallery for that property.
Oh, that's cool.
When they put in when they've initially typed in for the order that this is the address, this is the square footage and stuff, that's all loads on the single property website. So all the information is pre-filled in, and they might make a tweak or two, but after the initial setup, that's ready to go too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super cool. See, this is the sort of stuff where I'm like, that's the value. That's the value. Yeah. It's just more and more value, right? This is stuff I would have thought about, because it's like, oh yeah, you get photos. Now I have to go and upload them, because I did that when I rented my first place. I did it. Well, actually the first place I used, Amy.
Okay. Yeah.
To just find tenants. The second place, I'm like, I can do this myself. And my dad, photographer, never done real estate stuff. But we just snapped some pictures of the house and upload. And he knows more than I do about photography, but getting lower angles and trying to get 3 walls in the main living room and all some, weird stuff I don't even think about, because I'm not a photographer in any sense of the word. Well, I'm an amateur photographer anyways. And I don't know what I was trying to say about listing it, but we took some photos and I had to manually upload all of them into Zillow, and I had to manually upload all of them into Rentler.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So it's cool to think, oh my gosh, you pay for photos and it's just there. All you have to do is download or whatnot.
Like everything I set in my system, all they've got to do
it's a website.
They
Obviously,
still have to download the photos,
Zillow,
and they're going to have to put those in the MLS. I cannot access and load into the MLS for them.
But you make it as easy as possible.
But it's easy as possible.
Yeah.
It's ready to go.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's right. Because I've seen listings on Zillow or whatnot, and there'll be 4 photos of the property. There's a photo of the front. There's an old back photo before they replaced the siding from 15 years ago. And I always see this weird little white WLMS or something like that in the corner that kind of indicates it's an old photo from a former listing or something. I don't know. And it's always really small. I'm like, what are they doing? They're obviously they didn't get a professional photographer. Are they selling it? Either way, it makes it hard for me to look at the property. I'm not interested in looking into it further, because I don't see there's no interior photos, right? Or there's 2 interior photos, and one's of the kitchen and one's of a bathroom. And it's which bathroom is this? Which, right? So getting professional definitely helps more eyes get on your listing. Absolutely. Yeah. It's not debatable. So you do drone work. I kind of want to touch on that. That seems a little bit newer to me. Most people, I feel aren't used to seeing drone photography. What's the added bonus of the drone photography? Is it just it's gonna get more clicks because it's nice cover photo or whatnot?
So I do things a bit different than a lot of the other photographers in the area, and I've just changed it for this year, and I think it's going to just help make everything I'm doing. I'm just trying to make things as easy as possible for the agents, right? So what I've done is I've gone to photo packages that include everything. If you order a package, it's going to be houses from 0 to 2,000 feet or 2,000 to 5,000 feet as far as square footage. But what I'm doing that's different is like that's unlimited photos for that house. I'm not a lot of people are selling like 25 photos, 40 photos, 60 photos, something like that. And then maybe they offer a price per square foot option, but then it says like 12 cents per square foot. And then you got to do a bunch of math to figure out how much money is this house going to cost me. I just put it into brackets. So that's 0 to 2,000 square feet, $250. I'm going to do unlimited photos, as many photos as fit that property. I'm going to do unlimited drone. I decided to do that since you brought up drone, because everyone has, like, as far as all the agents, they all like the drone shots. But if you're making it an upsell, it's like, I don't know if I really want to take the upcharge for that stuff. I just made it part of the base package. So I always include drone. Now, there's going to be like one exception. That's like if you're right next to Provo Airport and I cannot get FAA authorization to fly that property, okay, I won't be able to put drones on that one. But
it's got to be a nice perk of having been a pilot. You probably are more familiar with FAA regulations than any other photographer around.
Yeah, I know. Like there's apps where you can get, it's called LAANC is the acronym. And you can get quick on the spot authorizations to fly with pretty close to these airports, Salt Lake International, Provo. I can fly pretty close to any of those. But there are some spots or some times where maybe they deny because of something's going on, or maybe you can't get, it's a zero zone. So you can't get an authorization, a quick instant authorization in a zero zone. You can still apply for waivers. There are processes to apply for airspace waivers in the FAA. You just got to know how to do it and actually take the steps. So I can do all that stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
But
that's cool that you're making that part of the default, because you're right. It's like if an agent's like, oh, is it worth the extra $80 or whatever it costs? I have no idea. No reference for that.
And to actually answer your question, I'm making that part of the default because drone shots are really helpful. I will always do a top down. I will fly directly over the roof, go up 150 feet or so, and shoot, or whatever it takes, shoot straight down and show the property outline.
Yeah, I love those photos where it's like the red or whatever showing the edge, and you can like clearly see in a picture, here's the exact property.
And that's another thing that like some people, they're making that an upsell to put property lines in. That takes me, I don't know if they're having to have another editor do that or something. It takes me like 5 seconds in Photoshop. So I just do that. I drop a red pin on the house on the angled shots where you can, here's the mountains.
Yeah.
And here's the house. And there's a red pin so you can see which house in this cluster of houses is the one that's for sale, right? But I'm doing that top down. I put approximate boundaries on it so that, in case I'm a little bit off, I don't want somebody to get sued or something.
Yeah,
so
you have to put like
I'll put the approximate boundaries disclaimer on it, but I'll map out real quick the fence line, or like I shot a place in Salem, there was no fence line, but there were property marks. They'd had it surveyed. So the homeowner showed me the survey marks. I put something kind of bright orange colored out there, the easiest spot from the air. And later on, it was really easy to mark the property lines.
Yeah. And if not, worst case, you can look up on government state websites. Like they've got those little property, whatever, and they're not guaranteed either. But
and I might be off by a few inches left or right, but it's approximate.
It's approximate. And the point is to help showcase the property and get it sold.
I always do that top down. And then I always do 4 angled shots. So I'll go to 200 feet. I'll back off the property a little bit. I've got it so that you can see the mountains. So many of the guys doing drone shots, they chop the mountains off. They're looking down at the property, chopping off the mountains, and they're like, "Yes, here's the house from the air," but you're not showing what's around it and the views or anything.
Well, especially if someone's coming from out of state to buy a house, you want them to see that mountains, because that's like the biggest selling point for certain houses. You got a clear view of the mountains, unobstructed view of the mountains. Like that's number one thing I feel like people always are. Oh yeah,
and that's the point of those 4 shots.
Yeah,
here it is. This is Utah Valley. There's the mountains. This is where you sit in the valley. And there's a red pin on it, and there's 4 shots. Basically, I usually do like 4 of them in a circle around the house that show the mountains to the south, the mountains to the north. There's Utah Lake in the north end of it. There's Utah Lake and West Mountain towards the south and stuff. And there's maybe the sun kept getting low and about to set over those mountains and stuff if it's the right time of day and all that. And
I love photos like that.
So that's my base set of 5 drone shots, and I will always do that.
You know, another, not to put one more thought into your head.
Yeah.
I'm always talking to people about roofs. So since the August 2024 hailstorms, roofs are like a huge deal for insurance companies, especially if your house is like over 15 years old, so like pre-2010, every insurance company wants to know the age of your roof, if it's been replaced or if it's the original. And for some companies, if it's over 20 years old, they just won't offer you insurance. They'll say, go somewhere else. So getting a good photo of the roof, I've had sometimes where insurance companies will say, we think it's old, But if you can get good photos of the roof, we can manually review it. Sometimes they'll say, it's unsure, get a roofer out there. So like that's another easy sell to insurance agents. Like, hey, we're gonna get good photos of the roof, which could help your client get insurance. And it'll make it easier. It'll make it easier on the process. Like, here's the photos, give these to your insurance people. Like I'm constantly telling people, hey, I need pictures of your roof. They're going to close. Like, why? And I'm like, because it's built in 2005. Your house is like 21 years old. Like we need roof photos, unfortunately. Or maybe it's a negotiation. Like if the roof is in bad condition, they can negotiate, say, hey, let's figure out a way to get a new roof as we're buying or selling the property. Maybe that's a thing for them to know as the agents. Like, hey, if the roof looks old, if you replace the roof, that might cost you some money. Take a HELOC to get it or whatever you need to do, but it might make it sell faster or sell for more. Or I mean, it will sell for more, but it might sell for more than the cost of the roof because that's going to make it easier for the person. I've had situations for some people where like their insurance quote's like $2,200 a year for home insurance, and they get a new roof and it drops to like $1,600. And obviously it's not a huge, like $600. Obviously a roof's more expensive than that, but it's one more thing where it's like, oh, my monthly payment's gonna be a little bit cheaper because my mortgage escrow is gonna be less for my insurance. Cool. But anyways, side tangent.
No, yeah. I went through so much on my roof.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. My brother and sister, they bought a place in Provo that was like over 100 years old, and they had to go through radon problems.
Oof.
Where like and he had to like clear out rocks and stuff, and they had to like install 2 different systems to get the radon levels to acceptable. It was a nightmare when they were buying the place, you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, they also got a new roof. That was part of the sales contract when they bought it.
My roof issue is still ongoing, but I have USAA. I love them for almost everything. You mentioned the hailstorms from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I filed a claim for the hail, and then they came out and they inspected it. That doesn't really look like hail damage, but I see what looks like ice damming over here, and maybe this could be considered wind damage. So I refile it. Doesn't look like wind damage to me.
Oh my gosh.
But that's potentially some hail over there, and that's potentially some ice damming. So now 2 guys have been like, well, I can't say that's ice damming, but they're like kind of hinting like if it was ice damming claim, maybe we could work with it, right?
Yeah.
And I've got a roofer working with me.
That's good.
And so me and the roofer, like, okay,
it's hard.
We're trying to do it all right. Filed a 3rd time with USA, and then he comes out for ice damming. He's like, I don't see anything up here. It looks like ice damming. This is just a bad installed roof. And like, no, this is like that. I've got this sag where there's very clearly been some ice damming, and the last 2 guys said it. But then when I actually file for it, oh no, it's denied. So yeah,
dude, insurance claims are a nightmare, and I don't
almost 2 years on that roof, and I still have the old roof up there, and I'm probably gonna have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah. Well, and I want to emphasize, obviously, this is a problem. Like the USA, I don't want to knock USAA. I've had problems like that with every insurance company I represent. I've had problems with Allstate. I've had problems with Bear River Mutual. I've had problems with Liberty Mutual. I've had problems with Openly. I've had problems with Steadily. I've had problems with almost every insurance carrier in terms of roof. It's because there's some very specific things that vary from company to company. Like some companies have started excluding pitting and marring, which are like very technical terms, right? For specific kinds of cosmetic damage. That's the key word. It's like, well, does it still function as a roof? Is it still functioning as a barrier between the elements? And I'm like, so you're saying if it's not actively leaking, it's not covered? Anyways, that's so good photos can help because if you're buying a place and you know this, you can barter. Or if you as a photographer are seeing some indications on a roof that it looks a little bit old or like granular loss, you can tell the buyer, the real estate agent, it's like, hey, just FYI, like this is looking a little older.
Well,
obviously they probably know because they're real estate agents, but
there wouldn't be much between me and the buyer usually. But I have had a couple people come back and ask for the photos that were used in listing, and hey, the homeowner they love the photos, and yeah, sure,
that's cool.
I think that's cool. Here, have them. And I have, while flying over a roof, spotted a couple of issues where I'm like, I tell the current homeowner, hey, do you know that like there was a house that was right off of I-15, like the Midville area, and its big patch of shingles was looking like they were like pretty much gone. I was like, did you know this is going on your roof up there? Because I mean, I can't just blot this out. I can't, when it comes to photos, I can do things in Photoshop to
you
make,
can slightly
make the
tweak the
colors look a
colors,
little bit
pop 'em.
better, or it was a stormy day, so I make it a clear day instead, or something like that, and add some puffy clouds.
You can't lie.
instead of angry clouds. So, but I'm not going to lie on the structure of the house. I'm like, they asked me, could you kind of cover that? We're going to get that fixed. No, I definitely can't.
I cannot.
But I will, because you're not too far away. So look, if you need an updated set of photos of this, once it's fixed, I'll just come and reshoot.
Wow. That is value, folks. You see this? This is cool.
And there's been a couple things like walls. It's still, one was used as an office, so they still had remnants of a sign in the paint. You could read the outline. They ran a little real estate agency out of this little home office. So holes everywhere where there used to be shelves. And they're like,
you need to spackle that up.
Can you Photoshop all that out? I'm like,
no.
Really, I
get
mean,
someone to come in, spackle it.
If it was like a couple little holes and you guys are you're about painting and stuff right now or something like that, all this, let's just take a couple new shots. When you say you're getting it done in 3 days, well, then I'll reshoot this room in 3 days. If you want me to shoot it now as is, because you just really need those photos to list, sure,
it's fine.
That's fine. We'll have them updated in 3 days and it'll be fixed. But yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. So I've got a little Facebook group for people that have been on this show, and I'll get you added to it, because there's a bunch of just do a little introductory post. Say, hey, here I am. Here's this.
Sure.
And I'm going to make one for clients too, for people that are watching the show that want to get a hold of people. Hopefully it'll be out by the time this episode goes live. Where it's just, hey, if you're like, oh, there was this episode that had the real estate photographer, how do I get a hold of them? Like, so I'm hoping to make a Facebook group for that too.
Sure.
Because I'm like, I just want value, right? I want the value, right? You're giving value. I want to give value. I want the listeners to get value, because I want this to be actionable, right? Like the goal after someone's listening to this is, oh, what do I need to do to prepare my house for photography, right? Like these are great things to think about. It's like, oh, wait, what if I need a patchwork? Oh, am I going to have to pay another photographer again? Oh, well, if I go with Nate, like I know it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be taken care of. We're going to be, yeah, exactly. That's awesome. I love that. Well, I feel like we're kind of wrapping up. Anything I should be asking you that I didn't? Anything like you're like, I wish people understood this, or
man.
So I feel like we've covered so much.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. I mean, I could go on about photography and the real estate stuff, and
I know the rule of thirds,
but rule of thirds.
I know one photography thing. Woo!
In photography, even in real estate, you got these rules. Like in real estate, everyone's like vertical. Everything's got to be vertical. Got to be vertical. Got to be vertical. Right. So like, yes, I do. I have a very nice tripod with a mechanical head that has 3-axis gearing, where I can turn this little gear and it very careful, specifically moves the camera left or right, or up and down, or I got basically pitch, yaw, roll on this tripod with these gears, and I can, and I have a bubble sitting on top, and I make sure everything is nice and level and stuff. But there's always a case where you can break those rules too, if it helps the composition, or if it shows something kind of unique. But yeah, I've definitely going to, there's some things like that. There's rules of thirds. There's basics like you just mentioned, home prep. And like I'll send out a home prep guide whenever somebody's getting ready to. So like agent hires me and they're like, hey, I need this house shot. Well, if they give me the contact info for the homeowner, the text will go automatically to the homeowner with a PDF that's here's some things to think about as you're getting ready to have your home photographed. Especially when they're living in it, and you look around and you see all this stuff day to day, and you're like, yeah, it looks good.
This is fine.
But I point out some things like you're trying to help somebody else imagine themselves in your home.
Yep.
So yes, all this stuff from your travels in Hong Kong and stuff like that is super cool.
Super cool.
But to somebody else, it looks kind of like a cluttered room. If you can just clear off those shelves and help them imagine their things in your home, because ideally it's not going to be your home anymore soon. Ideally it's going to be somebody else's, and you want them to easily be able to picture themselves moving into this space. Oh yeah, I could see doing this or that with it, and not be obstructed by, look what they've done to that place. And maybe they like it, maybe they don't, but help make it as neutral as possible. And so I sent them a little guide, like declutter the shelves, take the soaps and stuff off the kitchen counters and stuff, because the simpler it looks. I mean, just having
just a roll of paper towels might be a little bit off for someone.
Yeah, if you have these bottles you always have laying out, like that, you've got your Dawn dish soap and your paper towels and your hand soap, and you've got a few other things you always have lined up here that you always use at your kitchen sink. Well, in pictures, especially in real estate where image is everything, the less stuff that is out, it gives a feeling of being cleaner. It can be as spotless as possible, but when you put less stuff in the image, it just feels cleaner to the average person viewing these images.
Makes sense.
So I give them a guide to think about stuff like that. It's just one page long. Here's a few things to do. And then when I show up, I'll help them. I always plan for at least 15 minutes to walk through the house, and let's get the blinds set, either ideally all the way up, so we're not trying to edit around all these blind slots and stuff, but whatever works for the house.
Opening your drapes for natural light, or whatever it is you're going to
do. Make sure all the toilet seats are down and all that stuff. And then like the kitchen flooring, like there's a rug here in this room. Well,
so we've settled the debate for toilet seat. Do you leave it up? Do you leave it down? The answer is leave it down. So ladies, tell your husband that.
And then
always leave the toilet down. Anyways.
They don't want to, the average viewer, that things I've learned in real estate that I didn't come from landscapes and stuff like that, is like thinking about stuff like picking up floor mats. Like a lot of people have a little mat in their kitchen in front of the sink.
Yeah, in front of the sink.
Well, in pictures, move it, because to somebody looking at those pictures, they're like, well, I can't quite see the flooring. Are they hiding something under there? Especially if it's like a tile floor, are there any broken tiles or something under there? Let's show everything. Let's make it look as good as possible.
Yeah, make it look
honest. All those personal touches. Let's get rid of them as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good way to think about it. The personal touches you don't want, because someone else needs to personalize the house. They need a blank slate to envision. That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah.
We love your personal touches. You love your personal touches. We want someone else to envision their personal touches.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, I can put my paper towel holder right there. Right? Like, that's what you want them to think. Oh, my floor mat would go so nicely there that says, I love my cat, or whatever. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. I do.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I feel like we could just keep on going, but time. People listening, obviously we're going to put this in the description, how to get a hold of you. I got your bio, which was awesome. If you want a quick fire, for someone that's listening, how can someone get a hold of you, or where can they find you?
I've given you my contact information, but I'm on Instagram, hahnrealestate.media on Instagram.
That's
I'm on
HAHN.
Yeah, I should actually think
Hahn Real Estate Media.
Spell my name. HAHN realestate.media. And I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I've got a website, www.hahnrealestate.media, Hahn being HAHN.
Sweet.
And I've got my phone number on my website and everything. So it's like in big, bold text down at the bottom. They can just scroll through that front page a little bit. Hey, this looks cool. And then if they want to reach out, text me. A lot of people just text me and call me. But
Sweet.
Email works too. service@hahnrealestate.media.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on. This has been enlightening and fun. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think it'd be fun to get a panel, like have like a real estate agent, a photographer, and like one of my best friends, and just kind of like talk generally about, I don't know. I'm figuring out, I'm making a vision. I'll let you know.
One thing I was thinking of last night that we didn't really get into too much today, but was like I'm a first-time business owner and setting up a business for the first time, figuring out taxes, figuring out the business licensing and stuff. I mean, we could spend a whole.
Do you have to have a special like photography license?
Well, one thing I didn't realize at the very beginning, Utah taxes photography as a commodity. So I still have to collect that 7.42 or whatever it is percent sales. I still got to collect sales tax on every listing I sell.
That's so weird.
And most states don't do that. So I almost missed that, and I almost did something bad, and I don't want to get in trouble with the
Because
tax.
you have to pay that quarterly or monthly.
I had to get the business,
or maybe it depends on volume.
and sales tax license for the state of Utah, and there's different options, and I set mine up for annually.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, now
you have to collect it and basically escrow it to the side until you pay.
yeah, exactly. I have to keep that off to the side now. Like mine is set to go December to December, and now I have until this year. I have until the end of February to put that all together and file it to the state.
Send it.
Yeah.
Wow, there's more to talk about.
Yeah,
we'll
there's
have
a whole
we'll have
other
to do
stuff
another one
we could get into.
because that would be interesting. Because I'm sure people. Anyways, yes, we will do it. We will have another one. This is too much fun. So thanks so much, Nate. I appreciate your time, your skill, your expertise, your story, your service. It's been
Thanks.
great. Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good being here.